No,
I'm unmuted now. See?
so
I
weird.
did nothing.
It's live, while you're adjusting your couch.
I hate the fact that that pillow comes off all the time. All right,
It
what's up, everybody? I'm done adjusting. Doc has informed me that I should not do that while we are live on the air, but it's Scott
I
Smoking
don't care.
Silz, and this is DJ's live streaming along with my man Doc Rock coming to you from Honolulu. He's in Honolulu where it's nice. I'm in Chicago where it's actually beautiful today. We're almost like 70 degrees, so we're getting a nice little break here in the city. And we've been up late night all night. I don't know if you stayed up late, but I did. I was up till at
Bro, I
least two
went to
o'clock this
bed
morning
at
watching
9:30.
all this nonsense on TV. Just the way we do it. But the show must go on, right? So here we are. And Doc and I got lots to talk about because actually, we're still covering all these new features in Ecamm and some new equipment. And there were a few things that we talked about last week on the show. And I turned around and actually took some of Doc's advice, which, I don't recommend you do. He beats me up all the time. I got to give it back to him. But I actually, I put in one of these Cal Digits over the week. I ordered one online and it showed up. And I got to tell you, Doc, thank you.
See?
It actually works. And it works real nicely because I put in a really nice monitor. I put in a 34-inch LG monitor on this new system that I have. And when I did that, I've still had some issues that we talked about on the show last week. So I'm going to continue my rant as far as that goes because the software from LG still doesn't work. And I had a couple of you, June, thanks for reaching out to me and trying to help me with that. I got some different cabling and all the other stuff that was recommended, and it doesn't work. So I put in the CalDigit piece, and while it still doesn't work, the CalDigit piece works. And it allowed me to put in the digital video cable, which I wasn't able to do before. I was running off the HDMI on a different dock, not Doc Rock, on a different dock that actually was recommended to me. And the quality of this is far superior. I mean, the picture is just unbelievable by comparison to what I had before, just running through the HDMI. And, now I'm able to take advantage of the speed with my solid state drive, the secondary drive that I have on my system. I was complaining about my CamLink 4 before because obviously it didn't have enough power. I said, well, it goes in and out and, it doesn't start up all the time. As soon as I put it on the CalDigit, guess what? It's running just fine. So it comes on each time. I don't have to unplug it and replug it in. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I thought we'd cover some of that stuff today, as well as a couple other changes that are going on because Ecamm's got a brand new version of the beta out right now, which we didn't have last week. So I want to talk to Doc about some of the new features on that. And by the way, I don't know if I've taken time to really congratulate Doc, but Doc has become like an Ecamm expert, and he is now part of the Ecamm family. So he runs the beta group for those of you that did not know that, and he's done a great job with it. So congratulations, Doc. I know this is what you want to do, and you're really good at it. And, I'm glad that they gave you a chance to, shine. So you are shining. And with that being said, we'll continue to talk about Ecamm, and I'll let you beat me up and tell me what an idiot I am. And then, we'll just praise you because you have genius on your business card and I don't. And that's the way it is. That's how the show goes.
Not since I quit Apple. I took it off.
I thought it still said genius, no matter where you are. So, okay.
When I worked at Apple, I used to say point blank, the worst thing they ever did was put genius on our business cards. It just like, come on, let's start a fight right away. Like people would just and then you would get dummies that would come in and ask us things about like quantum physics or other stuff.
Yeah, you're a genius
with Apple's. I understand quantum physics, so I was cool. But I used to love people that used to challenge, and so famously, a buddy of mine that was on my crew, Raymond, and I. We were the kind of Jeopardy type nerds. So whenever people would come in and ask us stupid questions, we would answer them, and then they would get irritated. They thought they were stomping us. But I used to study Jeopardy with one of the warrant officers in my hospital when I was in the Army. So I know a whole bunch of useless crap for no reason whatsoever. Then I used to practice Jeopardy with one of the warrant officers who actually went on the show and ended up winning like 80 grand. So yeah.
Good for him.
Um,
Yeah,
start off
I'm
the
always
bat.
blown away at people's knowledge when it comes to that stuff. So I think it's pretty cool.
Honestly, off the bat, one of the first things that I guess we should cover that people don't really understand is the way you connect a monitor, right? And this partially the monitor manufacturer's fault. This is partially just tech fault, tech industry fault, and it's partially the fault of end users because end users, from my experience as a tech support person for 30 plus years, you get a box. And inside that box, there becomes the thing that you wanted. And right next to that thing you wanted is a little plastic bag that has this thing in it called manual. Not to be confused with Lemuel. It's just a manual. And users
there's
do
no
not
manuals in any boxes anymore.
open. And yes, now it's a lot of this stuff is green, and so you need to go to the website, but there'll be a piece of paper with the QR code. Or the best one, the one that kills me the most, and I could dig my box out. In my Sony box back there for the Sony A6400, when you first open the box, there's a giant sticker on the lid of the box that says, if you have any problems with this camera, do not go back to the store that you bought it from. Call this 1-800 number and we will handle you directly. And when I worked at our store, what everyone would do is come in with the box, all disheveled, wires hanging out. They can't close it back because Sony famously is very good at box origami. Right. And they would bring it to us and throw it on the table like, this is not working. Blah, 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 blah. And they would just start losing their minds. And 9 times out of 10, all my brother and I would have to do is peel the sticker off the battery and then reconnect the camera and hand it to them and go,
that's funny.
On second line in the manual, the first line says, congratulations on your new Sony. The second line says, remember to peel the protective tape off of the battery.
Well, fortunately, I didn't have that problem with my Sony cameras because I figured out to take the tape off it. Okay,
you know what I'm saying? But it's just how this is how this is how folks are.
I know.
And the other one that was super funny.
I get it. I'm sure people have hired the repairman to come over to tell them the TV is unplugged from the wall, and all they had to do is put the plug in, and they're good to go. So
it's going to happen It happened last week, and we just don't hear about it because we learned to ignore them now. But it's going to happen again next week. Every year the phone would come out. Brand new phone, right? You get the people that buy it, and it comes with the plastic cover on it. Launch day, day after launch day, majority of our Apple Store business, I bought this brand new phone. It cost me $1,200, and this piece of crap I can't even hear. Blah blah blah. And we would go and peel the plastic off.
The film off.
Test it now. They're like, oh, it's working, and it's like, yeah, you can't talk through.
Can you hear me now?
When the speaker is only this big, you can't talk through the film, you dummy. But it was super common, so it used to kind of sort of crack me up. It absolutely used to crack me up. But yeah, so one of the things that I wanted to talk about though, so this is a major confusion. So the monitor manufacturers, right? You have HDMI on the back. You sometimes still have VGA or D-sub or HDMI.
Well, I get DVI, so I get the digital video DVI, input.
Right? Well, so even still, between DisplayPort is the highest, okay? DisplayPort and Thunderbolt 3 are the highest. After that would be your DVI. After that would be your HDMI. And not all HDMIs are considered equal because you can have an HDMI FHD, you can have an HDMI QHD, you can have an FMI WQHD, and then you can have an FMI, that's, classic 4K, right? And then underneath that would be your VGA. So what a lot of monitor manufacturers do tell you in the book that nobody reads is if you want the highest refresh rate, highest signal, highest picture quality, you need to go through the DisplayPort cable. And if you're not going to use the DisplayPort cable, they would tell you to then go to the DVI. But what most people do because of their television, their Xbox, their PlayStation, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, Roku, all of the above, I know what this HDMI cable is. Matter of fact, I got 8 of them, and they just plug it in.
Yep.
And then you're forever looking at a crappy picture because you didn't get an HDMI cable. a DisplayPort cable, which is the one you really want. You want a DisplayPort cable, or you want to then go to the DVI. So that causes some problems. Now, the second half of this situation, and this is where we were talking about your cow digit in order to make sure you have enough power. The problem with USB-C is USB-C is not a protocol. USB-C is a shape. Okay, and I don't think a lot of people understand that. All this little circular, like elongated O, this is USB-C. This is just a shape. In that shape can be USB 2.0, USB 3.0, USB 3.1, USB 3.1 Gen 2, and Thunderbolt 3. All of those things can be in this shape. So when you see something that says USB-C cable, they just mean the shape. They don't mean the protocol that runs across it, right? So on my old Audient Evo 4 interface, it was still a USB 2.0 interface, but it came with what is listed as a USB Type C. And when they say USB Type C, it's still a USB 2.0 cable. It just has this shape, right? The only one...
As a consumer, it's very confusing for people.
100%. As a tech, is confusing.
Very confusing. And,
because the difference is, right? Hold on real quick. Sorry. The difference is you have 5 gigabytes per second, 10 gigabytes per second, and 40 gigabytes per second. So you got guys out here that will go and buy like a $1,500 drive, mix up the cables, throw this cable on, which came with a crappy something, and be like, yo, my drive's supposed to be quick, but my drive ain't quick, and I'm pissed off. And it's like, nah, player, you grabbed the wrong cable because you don't have the one with the Thunderbolt on it. The one with the Thunderbolt on it is 40 gigabytes per second, right?
Yep.
The one that's USB 3.1 Gen 2 is 10 gigabytes per second. And again, still livable. Yep. But the other ones that are USB Type-C, it's only 5. And then that's why you pissed. So you got to kind of like either take a white Sharpie and write, this belongs to this drive, or this belongs to the drone, or you know what I mean? And then you're okay.
Yeah.
But the last part of this, which is also hella confusing, some of the cables are power cables. They say USB Type-C PD. That means power delivery. Some of them are just data transfer. So you're trying to charge a device and it doesn't charge, or it slow charges because it doesn't have the power delivery circuitry built in. Power delivery circuitry protects you from blowing up your stuff. Right? So if you plug in the wrong cable like this that doesn't have the power delivery circuitry, but you put it into a power delivery nugget and you plug it to your MacBook, you can straight up blow your MacBook up or ruin the I'll call it a valve for lack of a better terms, but it's a power adjustment type thing. So yeah, you can get pretty messed up out there. Let's answer some questions real quick. First of all, Alex is in the building. What's up, Alex? Good to see you here, brother. My boy Elicio is in the building. Robert is here. Vigets Eric is here. He got it. Aloha ahi ahi. Yes, he got it. He got it, my man. Pastor Johnson is in the building. Good to see you. That's my partner Scott right there. Big ups. Avi, I am using a pod mic, and Scott is flexing a Neumann. I want to call it a 8. What is it? The 812? What's the Neumann?
TLM 103.
Oh, there you go. 103. TLM 103.
103. Yeah, that's for you hockey people.
No, it's funny because in Hawaii we say tree too. Everything is tree. Oh, what time you going?
103.
3 o'clock? Like we love to say tree in Hawaii.
Yeah. It's a Canadian thing, I guess.
Pastor Johnson says, I have a Logitech Brio and a Yamaha USB mixing board with the XLR mic. Should I upgrade to DSLR and Rodecaster? Okay, first off, let's get one thing straight. DSLRs don't exist anymore. If you buy a DSLR, it's an old camera. It's mirrorless, which is better. And again, I always just want you to know the nomenclature, because when you start searching for things, it can mess you up, because if you're using the antiquated terminology and you say, I want a DSLR, somebody out there will actually sell you a DSLR
they'll sell you that Canon camera.
And the M in M50 means mirrorless, right? So a lot of people don't understand that. Like all of the new Canon cameras are mirrorless too. The older Canon TI series and things like that, those were DSLR.
DSLR.
Oh.
What was that?
That is my boy, Kaizen.
You've got mail.
Yes, that is Kaizen out there putting in the work. soaking up the knowledge. Thank you. Thank you, Kai. The Kai is my classmate from college, bro. We had so much fun in our
Did he
marketing
send you
and
a
business
tip?
time.
Did,
Yeah,
did you get a tip there?
yeah.
Ah, okay.
That's
Where's my
funny.
tip?
I will send it to you. All right, June. Make sure you send Scott the bill.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
so Logitech. So anyway, the primary situation with the camera is yes, like your Brio is dope, and right now I probably would just leave that alone. If anything, I would go
It's a
for
good camera.
I would go for the mic part first because and it's good weird that we're the audio guys, but audio makes your whole situation better anyway. Like even if you have like a let's say less than stellar video signal, but your audio quality is good, people will stick around. And
100%.
especially right
Yep.
now, Pastor Johnson, a lot of people are disconnected, but they're still listening. So, for instance, you might be doing one of your lessons or doing a sermon or something like that, and I'm cleaning the house, okay? But like, I still want to hear what you got to say. So I'm gonna have you on. I got you on the big screen TV. I got you coming out the Sonos or the soundbar or the Sony. In my case, Bowers and Wilkins, B&W as we call it. I have you on, but I got the Swiffer, and I'm running around the house. I'm dusting, or organizing my whiskey cabinet, which I probably shouldn't do while I'm listening to Pastor Johnson. Or I'm in the
Right.
kitchen
Not to the
cooking.
church sermon.
I'm chopping onions or doing something. Then I'm crying because of the onions, not because of you. But I can still be engaged with what you're doing. At that point, I don't care what your camera look like because I'm not listening to you. I mean, I'm not watching you, but I'm listening to you. And so, people are like, how do you listen to a 3-hour Joe Rogan podcast? Because I'm not watching per se. I have it on. I'm doing other things. And when something interesting comes up, hey, I'm focused for that, or I'm cracking up laughing because, he's funny. But I'm not necessarily sitting at the TV staring at it for 3 hours. It just doesn't work. And especially for me, I absorb a lot. But like in the wood shop, if I'm sanding or doing something else, I'm definitely not looking at the screen because I like all 10 fingers to come back. You know what I mean? But I'll still have you on in my AirPods because it doubles as a sound protection from the equipment, but also can still listen to, whatever anybody that I'm listening to is talking about. So I would go with the sound part first, and then after the sound part, then go to the camera. And so if you follow the Let's Get Live rule of thumb, we go mic game, light game, camera game. We're going to get the mics working first, get the audio perfect. Then we're going to adjust lighting because good lighting will even make your old camera look better. And then we switch the camera last, and then it's all good.
Could you tell that to some of the people that are on TV being interviewed on Zoom on all these national TV shows, please?
Bruh, it blows me up. It blows
It's
me
pretty
up,
friggin'
bruh.
scary, okay? It's pretty friggin' scary. I mean, at least some of the TV anchor people or reporters have finally upped their game a little bit. I
So
say. Can you
it's
see that?
definitely
Little
changed.
bit.
It's definitely
But
changed.
yeah, I mean,
Well, that's
they
because
should
they're
have.
not the directors, but the producers sent the guys from the station to go to these people's house and get them set up.
Well,
I
yeah,
thought
the engineers obviously went out and they would have done some work for them, and it's better than it was. I mean,
yeah,
the prime example was, I don't know if you remember the Today Show. If you guys watched the Today Show, when they first started having to work from home, they were on like a piece of plywood with paint on it. It was a joke. I mean, the audio, everything was just so bad. Then they tried to put the fake video stuff behind, the fake pictures. It's like, well, it's storming in New York, and here you see like the sun shining on this loop in the plaza at 30 Rock. It was hilarious. And then they'd like, oh, it's a bad weather day. Let's change it to a bad weather scene. And it just a loop. I mean, it was crazy. But, no better. Like when you watch some of the weathermen and stuff here, it was really bad. So kind of fun to watch, though.
That is so true. Now, what's really great about, first of all, this is funny. I got to go find out who said that, but it said antiquated is antiquated terminology. I was trying to be nice. Epic Vision, the answer to your question is last night we had I was doing a test that was scheduling everything from Restream. This time I did it the way I normally do it, and so it just worked out better. It actually functioned. So there's that. And Pastor Johnson, thank you for super chat coming in. That was pretty epic of you. And then my brother is being him, just cracking jokes. And you weren't here, June, but Scott said thank you for helping him out. He really appreciated it.
Yeah. It didn't work, but thank you.
And
I
then
took the cable back. It didn't
Tommy
work,
is
but
here.
thank you.
Good to see
Yeah,
you,
it's true.
Tommy. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Hey,
But
Tommy. Tommy is one of my patron supporters, and then we were chatting on the back channel and Patreon, and so I've taken your advice. I started like outlining my course, and it's super funny. This little stack of post-it notes right here is the beginning of the outline. So now I'm going to line everything up and sort of get it in the right order, and then I'll let you know how we're doing. So thank you
that's the way to do it.
for talking to me and inspiring me to get that started, because I know it's something that I should have done, and I just get mad goofy with it. Now, Pastor Johnson is weird. It didn't pop up yet, but hopefully it'll pop up in a minute. But yes, I appreciate you for putting that on. So thank you for that, sir. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it pops up in a second, because I like the little doorbell thing. I don't know why. Scott and I were trying to play with it.
You've got mail.
Trying to fix it. There it goes.
There it goes.
It's weird how slow
All right, so
it is sometimes.
did you get that from Nerd or Die? Is that a Nerd or Die
Yeah,
alert?
I got the Nerd or Die one, but what I've been trying to dig into, and I just been so busy, I haven't had time. I mean, Bradley mentioned it yesterday, and it's the way he describes it is better. What that little pop up is a tiny little web page. So although I did the one from Nerd or Die, which is then running through Streamlabs, it's a little convoluted and it's buggy.
Streamlabs or Stream Elements? I thought we had to go through Stream Elements.
Same thing, different program. They're Coke and Pepsi. You know what I mean? They're exactly the same thing. They're just
because I tried to set one up on my page, and the box is there. It's like an invisible box, and I put the link in, but it doesn't seem to work.
You was trying Stream Elements, right? And I was having problems with Stream Elements. It was weird because it was working in the beginning, and then all of a sudden, from about May or June, it went stupid. So I turned it off. But as soon as we hang up, every time they send me an email with my bandwidth statistics and how much people watch, whatever. So I don't know what's going on with their system. Stream Elements is having issues, if you ask me. I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe it's just my account. But it's weird that it's my account and Scott's account. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I even did a demo on like how to play a YouTube video through Stream Elements so it would not hog your machine. And it was just something weird about Stream Elements. So I'm meaning to go in and disconnect it. But in theory,
I mean, I'd like to be using some of that stuff from, Nerd or Die. I think they got some pretty cool stuff. But
well, yeah. So in theory, because it's just a web page, you could kind of roll your own. And my buddy John and I have been talking about diving in and trying to figure that out, because the stuff that's out there is very gamer centric. And again, Bradley was talking about this
exactly.
It's very gamer centric. It's not something that you might like. I wouldn't tell Pastor Johnson to put that on for his church, although what it does is very good for his church, right? But the way that it comes out is very like, oh, gamer, not like, oh, this is, a person of patronage, or so what Tommy, you guys do for my Patreon.
Sure.
And so, yeah.
No, I agree. I think they should, with all the streaming that's going on, I don't see why they haven't tried to create a package.
Yeah, me neither.
For the real live streamers. I mean, somebody is missing a business opportunity, Doc. Why don't you put one of these together? You and Bradley should get together and put one of these together. It'd be a pretty cool package. I'll throw that out there for you guys. Put that in your little stack of Post-it pads. But I think it would work. Did you just freeze up, Doc? Am I losing you?
No.
Oh, no, I can hear you. I can hear you breathing.
Yeah, because my sinuses, how it is. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I had to answer my business partner real quick.
Okay.
I would definitely suggest to the guys like Pastor Johnson who's running a church. I was telling the same to Lemuel. The church community should definitely either start a Patreon or do one on their website. There's a plugin for WordPress that allows you to kind of roll your own Patreon, because it's very, very helpful way to have, your friends and your family, your supporters basically, help you keep afloat, buy new equipment, get training, take classes, things you do in order, because this streaming stuff is going to be here for a minute. And be honest with you,
It's gonna
pandemic
be
or
here a
not,
lot longer than that.
you should have been doing it already. Like I honestly been at this since 2009. So like but I was dabbling, like, when you come in and mom's cooking and you stick the thumb and you just run. That's what I was doing. And then, Karen was like, you should just stop playing around and just do it like full bleed. And then after my surgery, I was in the house half the time with my leg propped up going, man, I can't wait to get back to the studio. So as soon as my leg got better, like I came downstairs one day and I fired it up, and probably 2 days later, I bought Ecamm. And I was like, the rest is history, so to speak. So yeah, like it's right now it's a thing. And a lot of businesses, there's going to be great ways to do your training, and you're expanding stuff. Bradley did something really cool. He put a notice in the group, and he said, yo, I'm going to do a real live like keynote workshop rather than you catching drive-by lives or whatever. Just, real live keynote workshop. We're going to drop it. I think it was like 37 bones or whatever. And bro, he got like 250 something direct messages like right after that. And then so
wow,
now
good for him.
he's building that thing up. I don't know if that many people signed up, but I just know that it's something that everyone wants, right? So yeah. And I agree with Eric, like it is something that you could create your own, but and you should, to be honest with you, you should. I just right now I can't focus on that. So that's why I put the Patreon there. But I will really want to create it to where it's just my own thing using WordPress. I think it's much better interactivity. It's better for your users, even the people that want to help you. It's much, much better. Let's see. Keisha said, I would love to have native Ecamm widgets for Super Chats animation. Well, they're always going to be web-based, Keisha, because what they have to do is they have to take the information from the person that's watching on YouTube and feed it to you while you're live. So that's an API. API is like think of it as a secret handshake between YouTube and the program that you're streaming with. So the secret handshake goes, hey, Keisha wanna send you a tip for helping them out, and then the Ecamm goes, okay, and then it displays a graphic. So it would be dope if they did have native graphics in here, but it will always be web-oriented because of the way the widgets work in general. Otherwise, no one has a way to go back in your stuff. Eric, the Buddy Press is amazing. That's what I used to use when I first started podcasting. Their competitor, Blueberry, is actually invented by a guy in Hawaii who, when I first started being a computer tech, I used to help him get his computers together. This guy is pretty awesome. And now he has that entire Blueberry plugin and probably like 20 employees. And yeah, he built that from the ground up in the very first days of being able to do radio from your computer way back in like 94, 95. It's pretty amazing. You had a question, Scott, about something in Ecamm?
Well, yeah, I've got a couple questions. We've got a brand new beta update, which I did download, but I haven't had a really chance to play with it yet and see what the differences are from what we had just when they had the release version. But a couple things. Let's look at the titles. Actually, I mean, can we go backwards? I'm not really finished with the Cal Digit piece that I wanted to ask you about, because I had a couple questions for you.
Go ahead.
So I keep complaining. I got a great monitor. It's beautiful, but I complain because the software doesn't work on this LG monitor. So I tried this other cable that Jun had recommended. I went out and bought it. It didn't do the job. Still didn't fix the software. Again, it's a software issue. But the dock that I purchased that was recommended to me from the store initially had HDMI. It did not have the DV, which I now have in the Cal Digit, which my picture is. Correct? No, I did not get an Elgato. No, I forget the brand. I got it out of Micro Center. It was about $80, but it gave me the Ethernet connection for my Mac. So I bought a. So you guys know what I'm running here. I've got a MacBook Pro 2019. This is a new system for me. So I bought a USB hub so that I would have that for Serato when I went out. So I bought that, and then I turned around and came back and ordered picked up another hub. It was like $80, but it gave me the ability to put in HDMI, and it gave me the ability to have the Ethernet connection, and as well as like some USB or whatever the case may be. But with this CalDigit, it's awesome because now I actually have a true Thunderbolt connection. So I've got the 40 connection, and the fact that it was marked on the back of the CalDigit, I knew which connector to use for that. So I did that. I put the SSD drive, which I have. I'm using the 10 megabyte feed rather than the 5 for that. Is that correct, Doc? That's what you suggested I do, correct?
Yeah.
So I'm getting the best out of that. It gave me the Ethernet, which I had. But, like overall, my picture quality is far superior. My cam link is now working, which it was not working. I actually have a ticket into Elgato because I really thought there was something wrong with the cam link because it was working before on my other machine, but it wasn't working on this. But now it works. So I'm really pleased with this, to be honest with you. I think this is a really nice piece. So I'm pretty excited, obviously. Now, as I decide I want to add more to this, because the one thing I did notice in Ecamm, so you can use your iPad to be a virtual camera, basically. So whatever I put up on the iPad, I could put it up on the screen just like I would a camera. But I notice now, normally you have to be connected direct to the computer to make that happen, which I am directly connected to the computer. But now it's not charging, which I find to be interesting. But that's coming off of a different USB hub. So, that's a separate USB hub that I'm using versus using the CalDigit. So if I were to change that over and move that to the CalDigit, I would assume it would charge the iPad. It used to charge. Now it does not charge. So I'm guessing that that's just the nature of the hub that I'm using for that, Doc, or what happened? Why did that stop powering?
You said it
or
yourself,
charging?
and this is what confused you. You said you have it connected directly to the computer. Directly means
I have to a hub in the computer.
To the computer. So don't mix those two up because that will mess you up, right?
Okay.
Because the hub is in many cases supplying power, and in other cases passing through power. When you're passing through power, that one pass dips the power, right? You know that game in school? I think it's called Telephone, and it's like red hat, green cheese balls, and the person goes,
by the time it comes back, it's blue
red
balls
half,
and
green chest
red
piece.
hair.
What? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that pass through automatically steals a little something, right? Now, also on a lot of hubs, again, there's a piece of paper that's really tiny that comes with every one. It kind of tells you which port is the most powerful and which ports are not. Some of those ports are for charging only. They don't even do data, right? So people will plug it in and they're thinking that it's not connecting, but that port is power only. On the CalDigit, right here on the box, it tells you that one that's next to your Ethernet cable is data only. So don't ever expect any video to come out of this USB-C. But a lot of people would assume that video comes out of USB-C because video can come out of USB-C when it's Thunderbolt, right? So that messes people up. So CalDigit is cool because they label it. They say, hey, player,
smart.
This is data only. They also tell you that the ones in the front are 5 gigabytes per second only. It's written. It's hard to see on this little box here because it's still in the box. But there's a white printout that says these are 5G only, right? It tells you the one in the top up here are 5G only. This one's a 10, but that 10 only does data, so there's no video. So they're smart because there's chips inside that they have to pay license fees for. So they can't just put 27 pukas on here. Sorry, holes. They can put 27 holes on there. So it tells you which ones deliver power. The ones with the lightning bolts on here means that they're Thunderbolt. So more than likely, when you're plugging into that other hub, does that other hub have a power supply?
It has the ability to add one. It does not come with the power supply, but you can add it. I think is this a J? It's a J5.
J5.
Yeah, J5. So it's a 7-port USB connection.
So because you don't
And
have a power supply currently connected, that J5 is actually a power stealer. So when you first
right.
connect it, it's intended to be a pass through, but you've added resistance. Like, just like we used to have to put the 8 ohm resistors in when we were going to connect our speakers a certain way or use a low impedance thing. You've actually
Hmm.
added resistance. And then you put the iPad in, and the iPad is bougie. It needs every drip of that power, right? Because it's
Yeah.
big, it's got a fast processor, great sound, wonderful screen. So although you think you're getting the right amount, that little bit of resistance added by the J5, not to be confused with Jurassic 5, it
Or
stole
the
just,
Jackson 5.
or the Jackson 5, true that. It stole
There's only
just
one
enough.
J5. It's the Jackson 5. It's a music show. We are
I'm
DJs,
hip
live
hop.
streaming. It's
I'm
the
gonna go
Jackson 5.
Jurassic 5 first. But it stole just enough of power, and I mean, it's probably like minuscule amount to it, just enough to
Yeah.
stop it from doing that. And then so if you plug it into the back of the computer, which is a kind of a pain in the butt, I get it. But if you plug it in the back of the computer, it'll probably be fine. But just
Well, I'm plugged directly into the MacBook Pro. You get the 4 Thunderbolt uh, ports. That's what you get on it. So, it's plugged into that. Now, I wonder if I could plug that into that one that's the weak version of the
yeah,
Cal
because
Digit. So,
you
could I
can
plug it
use
into
the
there?
5. You can plug it into the 5 gig.
The
Because
5.
you're not well, you are transferring video, but it should work. It might be fickle,
Something I'll
but
play with.
it'll work. Because I plug
Yeah.
mine into, mine has that same port on the front, and I do plug my iPad into that, and it works.
Okay, now I didn't plug into the front, so the front is wide open in case I needed it. So I certainly could do that, and that would definitely work.
Now
That I
remember
know.
though, when you buy the cable, right? Um,
Yeah,
when you
this is
buy the
the
cable,
interesting cable. So it came with a 3 foot cable. I wouldn't mind having a 6 foot cable, but this is a really specialized cable. So it is what's it called? A power.
power delivery,
It's a Thunderbolt power something,
yeah,
but it's a
power
special
delivery.
cable,
Well,
and
that's
it's
only to
probably
connect to the
going to be a
computer.
$50 cable. I bet.
Yeah, the one that connects to the computer is that. And then remember, Thunderbolt cable don't go over 2 meters. It just starts to slow down. So 6 feet, basically.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I was hoping to get. They only give you a 3 footer, but
So
only
the
reason I say it is because I like to run mine I'm running my system in clamshell. And
correct.
for those of you that don't know what clamshell mode is, that's where you keep the laptop closed and all you're doing is watching off your monitor. So your monitor basically becomes your big iMac in a sense, and everything
Well,
comes
in
off the
theory too, what would be great for
MacBook
your
Pro.
particular situation is to run it in clamshell mode on the floor. Because that way,
Well,
when the
that's
fan kicks on, you
yeah,
can't hear it because the desk is going to block
right.
the sound.
Well, I actually have the
The stand.
stand up
Yeah,
dock, the
that's
stand for this,
exactly
which
what
I
I do.
haven't been able to kind of put together yet, but that's the game
So
plan
two
here.
things that's dope. Put it in a clamshell mode on the floor next to your feet, like closer to one edge. So what's going to happen is, number one, you're going to block the fan noise. Number two, all of
Yep.
the heat that emanates from that will keep your feet warm because it's Chicago.
Brother, you have no idea. And not only that, like for those of you that don't know, as you look, my studio looks pretty contemporary, to some degree. I'm in a garden level apartment for my studio. But this building is over 110 years old. And I have hardwood floors that are original hardwood floors. But did you know that underneath the hardwood floors, it's dirt? There's no concrete underneath there. They did. I mean, it's
Some
pretty
Al
scary. They
Capone
didn't have
bodies.
the concrete pads down there, so it gets a little cold down here in the wintertime. And even like today, it's 70 degrees out, but it's still kind of cold in the office because the ground from underneath obviously stays at a lower temperature, and I stay cold, and my feet stay cold, and Doc obviously knew that, so that's a good recommendation. I'll have a new foot heater
Dude,
called a
we
MacBook
used to
Pro.
put June and I used to put the Mac Pros on the floor, the big Mac Pros, because the big Mac Pros
Yeah,
they generate just enough heat. And Pops is a polar bear. Pops would put the air conditioning on sub-zero. I'm like, bruh, the
yeah.
whole point of moving here from Korea was to get away from the cold. Why is it always freezing in here? I would be dying.
Right.
June's okay. Me, I can't handle. Like I would be mad. It's so
Yeah,
freaking cold in there.
I worked in African American radio like my entire career, and the beauty of it was we kept the studios warm. Okay, we didn't have to freeze in those places because
Bruh,
everybody
it's
was
just
always cold.
it's freaking cold. Okay, so Tommy,
Absolutely.
to your question, first of all, I believe you have a somewhat modern MacBook Pro, but all the way back from the 2012, a MacBook Pro can run 3 monitors. It's just a matter of flipping weirdnesses until you get it working. But they pretty everything from about 2012 forward can run 3 monitors. Right now, if you have a modern, say Thunderbolt style one, you can pretty much go Thunderbolt, HDMI, 3 monitors, no problem. But what I would do is rock like this cow digit here, which gives me the display port out, right?
Right.
And then OWC actually has an adapter that will take the display port and split it to 2 monitors. And that's really cool because it won't put so much pressure on your notebook. It leaves your notebook some room to breathe, and then it'll put it out. I believe it's around 100-ish buckies.
Well, that's a good tip. I'd love to see what part that is because I've toyed with the idea of maybe putting in a another monitor, but what do you call it when you're going to go up and down? So, I mean, normally we'd call it vertical, but there's another term for that. So I was going to have one that's, the wide monitor and then do one that's, portrait mode.
Yeah.
That's what the term is that I'm looking for.
All right, let me.
But yeah, so since I've got the HDMI ports in the back, so I wouldn't just go HDMI out to that other monitor. I'd have to buy an adapter for the Cal Digit.
You don't have to buy an adapter. The reason, what I'm saying about using the splitter type situation is that it gives you more power for your computer. So that way your computer's not forcing the split, right? I know that sounds weird, but when you do it the standard way, your graphics card is busting butt to do what we're talking about. But if you do it with the way I'm speaking on, and I can't find it. Here we go. Maybe this is it. Then what it does is it's doing more of the work in this box, which is why the box isn't just a splitter, like an old cable splitter. There's actually some technology in this that will take some of the pressure off your graphics card.
So there's a chip in there, I'm sure.
So you plug this into the Thunderbolt, and it spits out 2 display ports. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So
why don't you put a link to that in the comments so everybody can get that, including myself.
That's Lemuel's job. Hold on, let me get it.
So I can get it myself.
Yeah. So
put that in for everybody else so I can grab that later.
This is sold under a couple different companies. I love OWC, and the other company would probably be Star. No, June, help me out. What's the blue, purple and white logos? We used to use their stuff a lot back in the day. Begins with an S. Come on, June. I know you're good. You're quick. What is it?
S.
Man, I can't think of it right now. This hurts my face because I know
it's a senior moment. It's a senior moment for Doc.
What I'm talking about. It's a purple company that used to make the expansion. Was back before we got Parallels. They used to make the fake PC cards so you could run a PC. We used to use their stuff. They made networking cards. Why am I blanking? This is killing me. Please don't make noise when I do this. Please come up muted. Yes, it's muted. Thank you. And then let's find the chatty chat. Sonnet, June. Sonnet is the word I'm looking for. Sonnet Technologies.
So, it's easier for me to look at this on YouTube, and I can see everything clearly. That's the one thing with like Ecamm, when you guys are the guest on Ecamm, because Doc is actually running the show, and I'm a guest on here. So as I see things that he puts on the screen, he's like, "Oh, aren't you seeing that? Aren't you looking at?" But it's so tiny. It's very small. And I can't see it. It's very blurry. And I look over here and I got beautiful like HD quality. So I'm going to have to learn to look at another monitor.
Getting there. That's funny. Because I told him I figured it out. I had to just talk myself through it, but he said Sonic Technologies. They normally make pretty cool stuff. So let's see. Um, they should have an adapter similar to what we're speaking on, like a Thunderbolt box that breaks out into like two monitors. But as you can see, like they make the external GPU. Yep, see, here it is right here, display adapter. That's the
Oh
guys.
yeah.
So
What's the price on that? Just out of curiosity, while you're
they're
there.
probably both the same. Sonic might be a little bit more expensive. No,
Oh,
it's
it says
identical.
learn more. Click to learn more.
Bruh, it's the same price. Now here's the funny thing. I'm gonna just
Oh,
go
looks
ahead
like
on
the
the
same.
limb. I'm gonna say it's the same adapter, bro.
I
Look at
bet
the
I would
look,
be willing to say that the specs
dude.
are identical. That
Look
that's
at the
made by the same
imagery,
company.
right? If you look at the
Yeah.
imagery, the way that this is laid out in the what do you call that, product shot, and then we go
Yep.
back to OWC and see how it's laid out in the product shot.
Yep.
Bro, it's the same smell.
One and the same.
That's funny. That's funny. So yeah, pick either one, whichever one's in stock.
Kind of
Tommy.
like those HDMI connectors that you'll see that you can connect your Sony camera with instead of a cam link. Sold under like 20 different names.
That's so funny. All right, go back to your own.
All right, so got a couple more questions. Let's look at Ecamm real quickly.
All right,
And
let me make
so
sure
you
it's
got
Tommy
our
Cochran.
titles up there right now, Doc.
Yes, sir.
How do you bring in the new titles? Because I got the fly-ins and the ability for you to actually put up the titles without doing anything. Because when the guest logs in, the guest types their name in, which I've done. That's why mine is spelled correctly. It says Scott Smoking Silz. But
Not smoking.
do your
Like
screen
when
share and show how these come in, because I got this new fly-in feature, which is pretty cool.
it's not
And where do you
smoking
bring
like
them in
when I
from?
type it.
You got smoking. You still put it on Facebook or YouTube. It goes, join Scott Smoking Silz.
Well, I know what that is. That's it's
Something you copy and paste every week, apparently.
no, it's the autocorrect. Autocorrect keeps trying to fix it. I have to add you to the dictionary.
Oh yeah.
I hate that.
Definitely. I need correcting.
Do you know how many times I have told somebody duck you?
Oh, it's it's so embarrassing. You type something out, it's like, I know I typed this probably, and it keeps reverting back to what you don't want to say, and it's like, and then you have to put it in. The client looks at you like, really, dude? You can't spell that? No, I really can spell it. But
like Siri
yeah, exactly.
and the auto type and Hawaii street names get messed up all the time, and a lot of times, even sometimes I'm typing to June and it'll try to put the month, and I'm like, he's in my address book, dude. I talk to him all the time. Like, I am not talking about the month. I'm talking about
month of June.
Okay, can you just stop it?
June.
So yeah, it gets
all right. So where do we bring in the titles with this? Show everybody how you bring in the titles.
Right here. The little joint right here. You click it. There's
wait. I'm got to look at it in 15-second delay here on YouTube. I'm watching. So you just.
Sorry, I'm reading what Freddie said. First of all, Freddie, good to see you here, brother. I have a simple question. How can you take a photo or
Freddie Fox? What a name, man. That's a good name. Freddie Fox.
Screen. You see your laptop. Oh, easy. Command Shift 4 is full screen, but if you hit the space bar, it'll just, whichever one of these babies turns kind of grayish, purple, that's what you're shooting. So the shortcut key is Command Shift 4, and then you have a thing that allows you to draw, and so you can draw, and then if you draw it wrong, hold the space bar, you can move around the draw box. But if you just hit space bar, that switches it. So you hit Command Shift 4, hit space bar, highlight this window, and press that, and that takes a screenshot.
Well, that's the Apple shortcut, right?
Yeah, that's every program too. That's not really just Ecamm.
Yeah.
That's every program in the world.
Right.
So in here now, all you do is in the interview box, which is over here on the side, right? I wish I had a way to make my mouse more giant-y. Actually, you can do it in Ecamm, but I don't like it. It lags. So when you press title, it flies in, right? Now you can adjust that fly.
For you young guys, lag, but for for the real people out there, it's latency. But okay.
Yes, correct. I always say latency too. I don't like. Let's see. Does it? Where does that flying part come from? I know there's a setting for that. Oh, I know what it is. It's here. I think when you double click this or you hit that, yeah, see the overlay style, fly in or fixed position. So in the box, I don't know if you're able to see it yet, but in the box
Well,
that
yeah,
allows,
from there is where you get the fly in
yeah, so
and
that
fixed
covers.
position. But now bring it in, show how you would bring it in. So
All you do
let's
is
take
press
them
the
off.
T.
Take them off. Just press the T and that's it.
Yep. So when you press the T, it goes spikang and then spikang.
Now, what is, I thought did they have another feature that they added to the latest beta version, Doc?
All they added to the latest beta version is that when you are streaming to your page, not group still yet. When you're streaming to your page using Restream, you won't get Facebook user. Yesterday I did a test and I misread the thing, so I read it again and I realized, well, donkey, of course it didn't work because you read the wrong thing. In groups, it's still you only going to get Facebook user. So way back in the beginning, somebody said something up in here and we got Facebook user, right? When they said, oh yeah, when they said antiquated technology, that's Facebook user. That's coming from the DJ's live streaming group. Everything else where you can see who people are, that's coming either from the page or my profile. Profiles still work fine because that that person's your friend, they're probably okay with you seeing their name. With the group,
Right.
it's really weird because I had to give you permission to be in the group, Facebook. So I don't know why you do it. Right? Anybody that's in that group, either Scott or myself or one of the
Yeah,
other
they requested to
admins,
be in there. So
yeah. So I don't know why it's like that. It's dumb. I think I really at this point I don't even think it's Facebook. I think it's more a Restream thing. So I have to talk with Denmark or Anya and see like what's happening. Player, like why can't we see this? It drives me nuts. But yeah, and then right now the bottom, if I pull it, it'll snap to the middle. And then I pull it again and snap to the edge. It is not as simple as flicking. It doesn't work. You have to actually give it some force, and it's designed to keep you from accidentally moving it. So when you hold down the mouse button and you move it, if it doesn't seem to move, just keep pushing.
give it a tug.
Yeah.
Use some muscle.
Something about keep pushing sounded like a iced tea thing.
Keep pushing. No.
I'm your pusher.
Oh, no. Keep
Love
pushing.
that song. It's such a great
House music.
beat. That
House
is such
music.
a great beat. It's such a great beat.
Boris DeLugas. Keep pushing.
I hope that helped Freddie. Yeah, it's one of those weird things. I would love for them to have a capture this screen thing. And I was talking to the boys the other day. It would be really dope if we had a clip feature. And there is one, but I forgot what the trick was. It's kind of hidden. It's not really publicized. But there's a way to say, okay, Freddie asked a cool question. And I know this might be really good for putting it on, say, social media to promote the show next week or in case you missed it kind of thing. So there is a hidden feature, and I'll find out what it is. But it would allow
if you had like a timeline, almost like an up-down arrow, kind of like your in point and out point for audio editing. So like if you're in Pro Tools and you wanted to go drop an in point, you'd hit the down arrow, and to capture, you'd hit the up arrow. And you could do something like that with Adobe Audition. Most of the audio editing programs allow you to do that. So if they would put a feature in, even if it was like hitting the period key, like in and an out. So we need an in and an out from the timeline.
That's the marker idea.
Yeah,
so
the marker.
The way I would probably cheat is use something like that where when you look at the waveform in your editing program, this will show up as a vertical line really tight, right? And right now that actually has a little fall off. I would use more of a beep, like a 1K beep, and just let your users know that you're going to use this later. So you just go ahead and inform them, because the people that see the clip, they're never going to hear that part. And you're like, so what I'm about to say or what I'm about to ask or this question from Freddie is really good, so I want to keep this. So give me a second while I clip it, and then you would do the answer. And then after the answer is over, you give yourself an out. And then when you go to look at it in your program, you'll know where it is because you'll see a pattern, so to speak. So
Yeah.
I forgot what Glenn said, but there is some weird shortcut key that would allow. Because right now this is recording, right? Every time you stream, Ecamm keeps a
Right.
recording. Because we stream through Restream, Restream also keeps a recording, which is great. So when I want to go and edit this and make little social media clips or something, you can just grab a nugget and pull it out. But there's supposedly
I
a
remember seeing that on a
yeah.
demo from them as well.
Well, it was in the comments the other day in the group. There's a shortcut key where you would break the recording and it would start a new recording right there. So it'd be the equivalent of
Oh,
like a punch intake, but
yeah.
records it separate instead of putting it in line.
But do you have the continuous file, and then this is an additional file that you
No,
would be
I think
getting,
it
or is
breaks
it?
the continuous
Is,
file and puts it there, but then it's
oh,
still
I
okay
don't know if I'd
because
like that.
well, when you go to edit, you just grab all of the
Because
files and you drop them on
yeah,
the
but you might be
timeline.
late coming in. I mean, you hit like okay, I'm talking now, and I wanted to get in. I'm talking now, and I hit it, so I've lost that. So
No,
now
no,
I've got
because
two files.
when you drop them on the timeline, the timeline will put them in continuous order. So you would just go to where the cut is and know
Oh,
that you're
so it's
10 frames
so you
behind.
still do have a continuous, but it's just broke. I got you.
Yeah, just broken up.
That makes
Like
sense.
the old like the
Okay.
Canon cameras shoot that way anyway, right? Canon cameras, because
Yeah.
they have a 29-minute recording limit, it breaks up the files.
Right.
So my
Okay.
brother
That
brings up
makes sense.
something pretty smart. Actually, I like this view over here. It makes us smaller, but I like this view better because it gives
Well,
me the
thank you. I hate the view you have there. I like the other view you just put up. And
yeah, I
where did
like
you
this
get
view
that
better.
view from?
Oh, you just to turn off the crop
Well,
camera.
from a standpoint of being the guest on the show, it's
Yeah.
easier to see when you go in the other mode.
Yeah. So you just Command Shift C. So when you're here, if you hit Command Shift C, Command Shift C.
Or what's the up in the tabs, like what do you call it?
In the
In-
camera selector, you press this little gear right here, and then you
Wait,
pull
I'm
down.
looking over at YouTube on my 10-second delay here.
Yeah, it's the last menu option
Yep.
in the camera selector.
Oh, crop splits. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have seen that.
So this for you,
Yep.
Tommy. June said multiple monitors, a good choice would be an eGPU, and he's actually correct about that. And the reason for that is the multiple monitors. Hey, where's Scott go?
I'm still here.
No, I'm talking about on this thing. Now there's an extra one of us. Oh well. I know what I do. I go like this. And nope, that didn't work. Where's my thingy thing? Swap. Let me swap this real quick. And then my camera selector is still missing. I always forget how to do that
Go
part.
up to camera, maybe because you were playing around with that option, or you could do it from down there when you were looking at the.
Nope. What I wanted to
Just
do.
go to camera.
Yeah, no. I'll put you there. And I need to add that. And then go swap it back. But Jang, there we go. All right. So one of the things that when you're running that monitor, actually, let me dip out of here real quick. When you're running that monitor, depending on the graphics card that came with your setup, you are going to put some fight on that graphics card. So an external GPU is an excellent option to take the load off of that graphics card and let it, do its thing. So I think this is a good option. This is new, actually, their new Puck 560. It's a Radeon 560 GPU, which is a pretty good GPU. But the advantage of the Puck is it's smaller and you don't have to go and buy a separate graphics card like it's all built in. You know what I mean? And you just plug it up and then you would kick your monitors off the back of that. Do they have a
What is the price on that piece? Just out of curiosity, with that buy now.
Boom, boom, boom. $299. It's cheap.
Ooh, ouch!
That's cheap.
Not $2.99 or $299. That's yeah, it would be taking some stress off.
No. Do you know how much a graphics card costs?
No, because I've never had to buy one because I'm not a PC guy.
It's an editor thing. The graphics card.
But I'm sure they're like $500-600. I see them on the
the
good ones at least.
But
yeah.
so this is to June's point first of all, this is cool because you're bringing in the right amount of wires, the Thunderbolt cable that would connect to your Mac, but you not only have the one HDMI out, but you have 4 display ports. So off of that single computer, and this works on Mac and PC, you see this person right here that's trying to get their stock trading on. You could run a 4-head monitor off of that $200 puck and save some juice off of your computer. So
that is nice.
This is actually a very decent look. And even this is actually good for like DJ setups and stuff too, because you can do some cool stuff with the like 4 different panels playing different things in the background. And they wouldn't be these little monitors; it would be giant, like on the wall screens.
Yeah,
but this would be a pretty cool way to do kind of what Zimmerman. What's Zimmerman's name?
Why don't you put that
Mouse.
description or the link in the comments so that people can grab that later?
So that people named Scott, can grab that later. Yeah,
Tommy, it's not in the budget. That's not in the budget. I've already spent my budget. You got my CalDigit. I had to go return the other hub I was going to keep. I'm like, no, I think I'm going to go return that and that cable.
Yeah, honestly, Tommy, I think that the CalDigit dock is a good look no matter what. Just for the fact that as you're plugging things into your computer, especially on the MacBooks, the MacBook 2016, the 2018s, and the 2019s all have a weird thing, where the 4 Thunderbolt ports all have different amount of power. And it's weird. And
now, is that true to this day? On 2019, there's a different 100%. Amount of power in each one of those, because somebody said that at the computer store. I went to the Apple expert there. And he's like, no, they're all the same. There's no difference. Okay. What is really the truth on that, and which port is which?
They are the same, but they're not. And the reason for it is there's a trace of power. Again, specs is one thing. Reality is a different story, right? When you go and buy your car, it says 28 miles a gallon. When you actually drive it around in the city of Chicago,
you get 20 miles to the gallon. You get 12 miles to the gallon.
You're good, right? In reality, when you have multiple things plugged in, the one that's on the side closer to where the power supply connects, which is the left side, it's stronger. It's not supposed to be. It's not designed that way. It's not intended that way. It is a matter of just what happens in reality.
So I'm running that CalDigit off the right side, which would not be.
CalDigit has its own power.
So I'm all good.
Hence the reason why I'm telling Tommy that even if you get an eGPU or something else, I still would rock the CalDigit for the myriad things that you plug into the computer that steal power, because it won't steal the power from the computer. It's going to, and power, I mean electricity. It will steal it from this, which has its own separate 87-watt power delivery. Also, the other dope part about this, Tommy, is you don't have to plug in the white Apple charger, right? The white Apple charger plugs into the CalDigit. When you plug your computer in, it will do your charging.
Actually, you don't even have to plug that in anymore. I don't have mine plugged in anymore.
That's right. Because
you eliminate that altogether. So,
yes.
Yeah, you freed up an electrical outlet because.
Yeah. And again, for everybody that's in the game, I'm going to tell you, pick up yourself a GAN charger. GAN is a fancy terminology for a chemical compound known as gallium nitride. And I can't think of a better way.
Can we get a link and a picture? Can you pull that up on the web so we can see what it looks like?
I know how to do this, Scott. I'm a professional streamer. It's coming. There is right now the one that I use. I'm trying to see if I see it on here. I use one that's known as Hyperjuice. I think that's it. It looks right. Yeah, this is correct. I'm using the Hyperjuice one right now. So think of gallium nitride today as what carbon fiber was for like skis or car parts or, things like that back in the day. It's a newer material that makes everything lighter, but it still carries all of the power and stuff like that. So what's cool about gallium nitride is, first of all, most of your gallium nitride chargers are going to pull like higher wattage with less heat, as lighter and smaller. So the gallium nitride charger for the new iPhone, it's it's cool. Like I've been using these for a little bit, but the new one, this little nugget right here, this thing is sick with it. It's a 30-watt charger in the same size as what Apple used to give you a 5-watt charger. It's a 30-watt charger, which means not only will it charge an iPhone, it'll charge an iPad, but it will run a MacBook and slowly charge it. Like for the MacBook to charge, you need 60 watts, but it will slowly charge it. So if you close the MacBook and you go to bed, when you wake up, it'll charge. It just won't be 2 hours. It'll be like 8. But that tiny little charger. So the reason why I like the brand that I got, the Hyperjuice, at the time is it was the first one out. Now there's other people making them. Anchor is a fantastic company. And you notice on these guys, they say PD, which means power delivery, which we talked about in the very beginning. So they do have enough juice to charge 2 phones at one time, run a computer, run an iPad, like all of the above, and they're just really, really tiny. So it tells you a MacBook Pro like Tommy has needs 87 watts. A small Dell, those Chromebook level style Dells or the Pixel books, they need 45 watts, right? An iPad right there needs 27. The new phones want 12. The Galaxy tablets, I think they say no effing idea. The same with, but it's probably the same as the iPad, and then the notes are probably the same as the iPhone. So fantastic look. Now, this is something you'd have to go into with your own accord, but because I've been buying Hyperjuice products for many, many years, they've been out for a long time. They actually have a new one that's coming out, which I definitely am going to get because I love Hyperjuice. And what's cool about this guy is, okay, dude, just stick the 2 words together then automatically. I hate search engines that are broke like that. It's so irritating. If you know that there's the real one, leave it stuck together. So this is the new version. As you can see, the old version right there, I bought that, right? That's the one I have right now. This is the new version that they're coming out with. And this is dope because they put a socket. So the socket either allows you to do a couple things. You can stack them, or you can pass through. So in your wall, it can get quite irritating. Hey, where's my let's see if there it is, campaign. I see it. Sorry. They rearranged this on me. So see how they stack them together? They just plug them on top of each other.
Sweet.
You can stack like 14 of them or something stupid. But the other thing that's dope is when you plug this in, when you plug this into the wall, or like this table where, there's a power port, like in the cafes in Japan and like Europe and stuff, they'll have the plug on the table sitting on top of the table. When you plug the thing in, you're being the ding dong that's blocking everybody else from plugging in, right? So what's cool about these, if you go to somewhere and you happen to be the guy plugged in, you got 3 other pukas open, you can just tell the person, yeah, go ahead, plug in. And they'll ask. They're very kind. People ask, can you plug in? And that's cool. So you're not blocking it, but there's also a pass-through. So if they have something that they can't plug in, but they need to plug it in, they can plug into the top and pass it through. So nice. Really, really cool good. Piece. And it, like they show here on the wall, when you plug it in so it doesn't fall out the wall, you got to cover both sockets, but you at least put one socket back, and it handles up to 1,500 watts.
Actually, that would be a really great piece to put in your DJ case, like in your coffin, your flag case. I mean, that would be a perfect piece. It's small enough. It gives you the ports you need, and it's out of sight, so that you don't have the guests coming up going, "Can I charge my phone?"
Yeah, that's cool.
It does happen. Frank? It does happen, people. But that would be a nice piece for the flight case, no doubt.
You have 34-inch ultra wide, Scott?
I do. I get the so it's an LG 34 UC 88. So in the back, you don't have the Thunderbolt. I think they have a newer model. It's a lot more expensive that has the Thunderbolt. They didn't have it at Micro Center. This is what, in my price point. I mean, they had a couple of LG monitors that were in like the $1,500 price range. I didn't want to spend that kind of money. I can't afford to spend it right now on a monitor. But I would definitely, this one was really nice. It was like $100 off. It's a great monitor. I want to say it was in the $500 to $600 price range, if I'm not mistaken. But it doesn't have the Thunderbolt. The newer ones do have a Thunderbolt. But this is a current model. I was like, well, is this an older model or something, like it discontinued? But no, in fact, it's a current model. They still sell this, and they make it in a white. They make it in a black. They've got a couple different models. But it comes with like a hub on the back. So as I mentioned, I've got the DV port in the back for the monitor to plug into this CalDigit. And you've got two HDMI ports back there. You've got a couple of USBs. The top one is already set up so that it provides power. And then I think there was something else back there. So there is like a hub built into this thing if you want to use it, so that you could eliminate some of the wires coming out to your desk. Unfortunately, I would love to show you guys, but like my setup from here, I have another camera setup. When I'm running Ecamm, I can actually show you like my streaming setup. But because Doc is controlling everything and I'm only plugged into this is all you can kind of see. You get the front view. But one of these days, if I can run Ecamm to Doc, and then I could actually have the camera and I could show you some of this stuff. So maybe next week we'll do that if I can run Ecamm. And then you'll have, we'll have multiple shots of some of this stuff, and we can look at some of the equipment and talk about some of it. Because I do have a pretty cool setup. I've got some pretty cool lighting, and running the Rodecaster Pro Sony camera and some different things of that nature.
Now you bought a second pack, right? Because now you have two packs back there.
I've actually got 3 packs. So when you buy the canvas, there you get 9 in your initial pack. But that 9 that you get initially, the power supply that comes with it, which is one of the squares, you can have up to 25 squares. So I now am, I believe, up to like 21 panels.
I didn't see the ones that were behind your head. I was only looking at the ones across the top. Your body was
let me.
the verticals. Bro, that's sick.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So 21. So I've added a few additional packs. And the packs that you get, they come in a set of 4. And these are pretty cool. If you guys haven't put these together, like, you could do any kind of a pattern you want. The only thing, there's like a connector. It looks like almost like a stay for a shirt. It's kind of small that way. It's long, about that wide. And you stick it in. You just have to be able to connect. So it gives you a couple different ways you can go. So I wanted to go in a couple different directions. I was like, oh no, I'm dead ended. I can't go in that direction now. So I had to kind of go a different way. But I've tried to stretch this out so I get a little better background in the back here. As you could see, it's expanded out. And that way, if I am on a tight shot, which a lot of times we are, why is this cutting out? A lot of times we're on a tight shot when we've got 3 people on the screen at the same time, versus having, only 2 up there like Doc and I. But my other show that I do, which is the the ref room, a lot of times we're tight. So I still wanted to be able to have some lights up there that would show. The other thing I did, I got those, what are those little silicone things that you put in the MMEs that you like, Doc?
The Spin Fit.
What's that? Yeah, I bought a set of those. All of a sudden, my headphones are not real. Oh, there we go. Must have pulled the wire a little bit. Much better. But yeah, I tried those. They're pretty good. They're, I bought a set of small.
Wait, hold up. Your canvas is the touch panel ones?
Yeah. So you can do that. I don't play around. You play whack-a-mole or whatever. I haven't set it up for that. I kind of got away from it. But there's 2 choices. So I have it set now, so it just kind of moves. But I could do this even from like my phone.
If I did that every
I'll
time,
change, because we can do it to music.
Pressing them.
All right.
That's
so
crazy.
My phone. There we go. All right. So we'll go in the back and we'll go to music or something like that. So here's a music. So as I talk or bang on the desk, you can have the lights So yeah, you get a couple different ways of doing that, and they've got some predetermined patterns. You can do so rhythmic. They got some cool disco stuff here, folks. That's what sold me. They had
No, I'm
disco.
laughing at
Uh,
Tommy because Tommy said,
that
"Thanks
was
for the
it.
advice." Chats, labs, bros, and geezers. I think we're the geezers.
Yeah, afraid so.
Thanks,
Speak for
Tommy.
yourself. Speak for yourself. Here we go.
Right.
Disco. Well, this one's automated disco. I think that's what I probably had on. Here's another disco pattern, a little bit different, but there's a lot of stuff. You want to do cops? Here we go. There's the cop show right there. So yeah, but
Okay.
it
So,
looks nice in the background. I think it gives it a little life and some color, and that's really what we like in the background, guys. I mean, just some sort of activity, and I've got some other lights in here that I run.
so
And,
Tommy, the video
work lights.
processor that my brother is talking about is, um, back in the tube, right? You're in UK. When you would go into the tube, sometimes you would see digital signage where, say, an ad for Todd's is taking up four 40-inch panels, and it's stretched across all 40-inch panels. The thing that runs that, the multiplexer, is known as a video processor. I just said that, June. Let me finish what I was saying, player. That's exactly what I'm saying. So Matrox is a company. There's a couple other companies that are out there, but they're designed to take a signal that you would throw at it and then spread it across a thing. So if you watch Dead Mouse, Zimmerman, whatever you want to call him, sometimes he'll be standing in his little thing, and then they're all little monitors, like Scott's panels behind his head. Actually, they're all doing stuff. But then there's a moment where the mouse head comes on, and it's put all over all the patterns, even if the patterns aren't in, say, a 16:9 configuration, that it would just show up. So like the eye for the mouse would be like right above Scott's head where the platinum record is, but then the other ear would be on the opposite side of like Scott's head where the other two awards are, because it's still looking for a 16:9, but it knows how to divide it over whatever shape you put on the wall. And then so I know Matrox is one of the companies you can look into, but yeah, basically it's just going to take your video signal, divide it up into grids, and normally they just need HDMI connectors. So if you wanted to get hyper nuts with it, you'd have the main feed coming out of your computer going to it, and then it will divide it up amongst, say, like 9 HDMIs, and you can just get crappy HDMI, like there's a company here in the US begins with a V. They make crappy monitors that everybody loves. Vizio. You could buy like crappy Vizios or Hisense or something like that, and they'll be fine.
Vizio, isn't that is that Sony? Vizio?
No, God, no. Oh, no. Don't you curse like that. Blasphemy. Sony is Bravia. Sony makes
Bravia, I know, but they got Bravia.
beautiful
I didn't know
displays.
that. I thought they had.
Vizio was
Yeah.
the cheap, crappy ones from Costco that everybody would buy because they were always cheap, but they normally die within like 1 year. And people are like, oh, my Vizio died. But then Costco was dumb enough to take them back, so they blew up because everybody would keep
There you
buying
go.
them because they're super cheap,
Yeah.
but they're whack. I hate Vizio monitors. They look
Hey,
like
let's talk about the Stream Deck a little bit. You want to talk about the Stream Deck today? We got
Sure.
time, or you want to? Actually, we're already like at an hour 20.
We should save that because I haven't taken it out of the box yet.
All right, let's do Stream Deck next
I
week,
got
guys.
Methuselah over here. I need to take out the box and set it up. I have my little Bicky one on the thing over here, liquid one.
Yeah,
But
I would like to talk about Stream Deck with regard to Ecamm and some of the other stuff that it can do, because it's a pretty cool piece. I don't have the baller version like Doc has. I got the
currently do is just do this, to just switch back and forth, right? And then, so like can kind of go back and forth and back and forth,
back and forth and back
know,
and forth. And
can
you
like-
can just dance through like
Like
they
I
do.
can
You
put
know?
up Tommy's comment and then be like, "Oh, that's rude," and get rid of the comment just by tapping the.
Yeah.
He never says anything rude. Here, let's get rid of my brother's comment. He always says something rude. Love you, Jim.
Hey, don't mess with June now.
Oh, now look, I can even fire up a like an overlay can pull imagery if I put images, stuff like that. So yeah, if you have a video that you want to play, I can, play a sound file.
Yeah, like I've got my lights on that. Watch, boom. Oh, there we go. So I can turn on some of my.
You have Elgato lights, right?
Well, I have two Elgatos, but I could also, like those nano lights that you're seeing behind me, I could turn those off. Let's see. Yep, there they go. They're off. So I can control those. I can control my Philips lights. Boom.
I think the number one thing
off.
that goes missed on Stream Deck for most people is not remembering every once in a while to check the app and see if any of the things that they have in their place have finally made a plugin. Because when you first bought a Stream Deck, there was like 4 plugins. And now...
Oh, there's a lot now.
You go in and you switch it off of most popular and just switch it to alphabetical, and there's choke, like a metric ton. So that's cool.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff up there. So yeah, you can control all these lights now, and you can get a world clock on here if you want to see what time it is. You can go by time zone. You can put up all your websites that you go to. You can do special. You can see what the percentage of your CPU is being used. Currently, I'm using 21%. So that shows up on my Stream Deck. It shows me the time. It can show the emails that are coming in. It can control the temperature of the lights that I'm running and the brightness of the lights that I'm running. Of course, it can run Ecamm and do all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I'd like to talk a little bit more in detail about it, though, Doc. So we should do a little more of a deep dive. I want to talk about the folders, customizing the buttons, which I have some cool RGB stuff that goes around on the lights and all kinds of neat things. But you could do screensavers on here. There's quite a bit you could do with this thing. It's a really cool little toy.
One that definitely goes missed for a lot of people in our community is Keynote. Like you can install Keynote, so you can make a plugin. And it goes missed, and it's very handy for Ecamm. So okay, we could do that. We'll do.
Yeah, you like trip mode? I mean, I have trip mode set up so I can turn it on and turn it off from here. Yep. So there's a lot of neat stuff that you could do here. Within Ecamm, you can go to the next scene. You could switch cameras. You could do a share screen. You can go live. You can end your stream. You could see how many viewers you have. Lots of really neat features. So let's do the deep dive because there's a lot of customization and macros and things of that nature that can be set up. And let's see if we can't put me on Ecamm next week where we can kind of go back and forth and share some of the stuff with you guys.
Yeah,
does that sound good?
When you come in from a Chrome browser, then it'll work.
Yeah, I'm already on a Chrome browser right now.
So you can select virtual camera.
Well, I could do share screen, okay, but share screen's not going to give me the camera.
Select your camera as virtual cam in the Chrome browser, and then Ecamm's working.
Okay, let's see. So I've got.
Hey, Frankie.
Virtual cam. Let me hang on.
Frankie.
There's my cal digit. Oh, I'm in. My bad. Wrong one. Here's a virtual camera, but I'd have to have Ecamm running, and I don't have Ecamm running right now. So
as long as Ecamm's running, then virtual camera will show.
Yeah, I don't have. I've turned it off just to make life easier for everybody and less stress on the computers. All right, let me go back to my cam link here.
Okay, Bishop Oliver, just for you. Just because you said it, it's going to happen next week, Wednesday. We're going to do Stream Deck. I'll actually post the schedule thing now.
Okay, cool. So Stream Deck it is. And with that being said, anything before we wrap it up here, Doc, that you want to?
No, that's it. Don't forget, tomorrow, if you're on the beta squad for Ecamm, I'll be doing a beta stream at 8 a.m. So if you want, jump in.
8 a.m. What time? 8 a.m. What time? Like
switched. So
what time zone?
It's 1 o'clock to you.
1 o'clock Central?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything's switched by an hour. You guys
I'm going to try to check that out.
Clocks. That messes me up. All right, gang. We got to go. I'll see you.
All right, guys. Have a great week and keep the peace. And we will see you next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Chicago time, which is Central. And that would be what, 8 o'clock in the morning for you, Doc? I wake you up every Wednesday?
No, I'm up.
Right?
I'm up at like 5. I get up.
My man. All right.
Whatever, man.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. You guys have a great week. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time on DJ's live streaming. Adios.